Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Idahan Bakri. Today I'm going to start my presentation about self-reflection with Chapter 1. What is organization behavior? In MGT548, OB is the study of human dynamics in the workplace, while general management focus on structure, process, and resources. OB specifically focus on the people. If you look at the diagram on the slide, we can break down OB into the three simple levels, which is individual, group, organization. Then from my personal understanding, OB is basically the psychology of the company. It's not just about managing tasks, it's about understanding why employees behave the way they do. Let's dive into the next chapter, which is attitude and job satisfaction. First, what is attitude? In simple terms, attitude is an evaluative statement, either favorable or unfavorable, about objects, people, or events. Basically, it's a reflection of how you feel about something. Secondly, what is job satisfaction? Job satisfaction is actually a specific type of attitude. Is it defined as a positive feeling about one job, which comes from evaluating its characteristics? If you feel good about what you do, you achieve satisfaction. Now, to put this into context, let's look at how this applies to me personally. If we look at the point number 1 under attitude, these are the traits that I always try to bring into my work and assignment. I believe in staying hardworking, taking up leadership when the team needs direction, and being creative when solving problems. This is my professional attitude. And because I hold myself to these standards, it directly affects point number 2, which is my experience with job satisfaction. As a student, my job satisfaction comes from our team project. I feel most satisfied with my group mate when they match their energy, being responsible, and completing the assignment on time. Moving on to Chapter 3, let's discuss personality and value, which are key components of individual behavior in an organization. Based on my MBTI assessment on the slide, my personality type is ENTJ-T, also known as the Commander. As an ENTJ, I am naturally driven to lead, organize, and structure strategic plans to achieve goals. Let's look at how my strength, weakness, and value align with this personality. First, my strength. I practice clear communication. I am efficient organizer when handling group tasks, and I am highly future focused. I always look at the bigger picture and long-term result. Second, my weakness. On the flip side, I tend to engage in overthinking. I can be a strict perfectionist with my work, and since I am still a student, I sometimes face a lack of experience in more complex environments. Third, my core value. These are the principles that guide my action. I highly value discipline, personal and team competence, and be strictly punctual in everything I do. Moving on to Chapter 4, let's talk about perception. What exactly is perception? In OB, perception is the process by which individuals organize and interpret their sensory impression to give meaning to their environment. In short, it's not about reality, it's about how we see reality. To understand this better, let's look at point number 1. Imagine a manager give very detailed, step-by-step feedback on a report. Employee A might perceive this positively as a sign of support, care, and valuable mentorship, but Employee B might look at the exact same feedback and perceive it negatively as a lack of trust and constant criticism. Same action, completely different perception. This brings us to point 2, which is massive chunk of this chapter, attribution theory. This theory explains how we judge people differently based on what meaning we attribute to their behavior. To do that, we look at 3 factors: distinctiveness, consensus, and consistency. Now let's look at how perception play out in my real life. Based on point 3 and 4 and my personal experience with my friend here in the picture, people who don't know me might have the perception that I am introvert because I can be quiet at first. But once people get to know me, they realize I'm actually just very easygoing. Because I understand how easily human perception can be flawed, I always make it a rule to think positively about others and try to understand their specific situation first before making any answer. Next, we still at chapter 4, which is decision making. By definition, decision making is the process of choosing between two or more alternatives to solve a specific problem. In OB, we look at how individuals make this choice and we usually compare two major models. Point 1. The rational decision-making model. This is the perfect step-by-step textbook method. It starts with defining the problem, identifying and weighting the criteria, developing and evaluating all alternatives, and finally selecting the absolute best alternative. It assumes we have all the time and all the information in the world. Point 2. Bounded rationality. But in reality, human brain have limit. Instead of searching for the perfect absolute best decision, we construct simplified model. We end up choosing the first alternative that is highly acceptable or good enough. In OB, this is very famous concept called satisficing. Now, let's look at how this applies to me based on point 3 and 4. When it comes to my decision-making style, I always try to balance both models. I tend to think carefully, ask for opinion from others, and deeply think about the consequences of my choice. A real-life example of this happened recently when I received two offer letters at same time. Want to start working and want to further my study. If I used the 100% rational model, I would have been stuck overthinking for months and analyze every single cent. But by applying bounded rationality and thinking about my long-term future, I made a firm decision. I chose to pursue my study first. I believe it was the best, most satisfying choice for my career growth right now. Finally, let's move on to chapter 5, motivation. In organization behavior, motivation is defined as the process that accounts for an individual's intensity, direction, and persistence of effort toward attaining a goal. Instead of just looking at textbook theories, let's look at what actually drives me as an individual. On this slide, I have listed my 4 biggest motivations. First, my family. They are my ultimate backbone. Every bit of hard work I put in today is to make them proud and to give them a better future. Second, career growth. I am highly driven by progress. I want to build a solid career path where I can constantly improve and step into strong leadership role. Third, self-value. As I mentioned in my personality assessment, values like discipline and competence are very important to me. Doing my best align with who I am. And fourth, academic achievement, which exactly why I put this graduation picture on the slide. This represents my immediate goal. That's all. Last but not least, conclusion. Studying MGT548 transformed the way I view the workplace by shifting the focus from rigid business process to the complex psychology of human behavior. By mastering how individual attitude, personal perception, and group dynamics shape everyday action, I move away from simple memorization and instead learn how to diagnose and solve real-world organization problems.